Elon Musk is building something huge in the Philippines, but is it salvation or colonization too? This isn't just another billionaire flex, it's deeper, and it could change everything. Why the Philippines? Of all the places on Earth Elon Musk could have pointed his compass to, he chose this archipelago. Not Tokyo, not Silicon Valley, not even the oil-rich deserts of the Middle East. He's locking in on Manila, Cebu, Davao. Now ask yourself, why? And this isn't random. This isn't just business. This is a calculated move, a power play hiding beneath palm trees and polite smiles. Because Musk doesn't follow trends, he ends them. While the rest of the world is chasing the next big thing, he's already building it. So when the richest man on the planet starts laying down roots in a place many investors still overlook, you better believe it's not by accident. The truth is, Elon sees what most don't. While others see traffic, floods, and bureaucracy, he sees infrastructure ripe for disruption. He sees a young, English-speaking workforce that lives and breathes online. He sees cheap labor, untapped talent, and a population that's globally aware but locally underutilized. He sees a country sitting on the edge of Southeast Asia with one foot in the east, one in the west, and a government that's more than willing to play nice with powerful outsiders. And let's not forget, this isn't his first rodeo. Musk has a pattern. He moves fast, he breaks things, and he dominates the space once he gets a foot in the door. Starlink, it's not just about giving remote areas internet. It's a global digital grid, a web of satellites offering him leverage in the skies beyond national regulations. And guess who's opening their skies to him with almost zero resistance? Yep, the Philippines. But let's not pretend this is only about business. It's also about control. Control of data, control of digital infrastructure, control of the narrative. Think about it. When you're the one providing the connection, you get to decide what flows through it. And that's not just Wi-Fi. That's influence, that's soft power at its finest. And it doesn't stop there. When billionaires move into developing countries, the short-term benefits always sound great. More jobs, more tech, more opportunity. But the question no one asks is, at what cost? Who owns the platforms? Who harvests the data? Who really wins when the dust settles? Because once a nation becomes dependent on a billionaire's ecosystem, unplugging isn't easy. That's the real play. Give them what they need until they can't live without it. Then quietly shift the balance of power while everyone's distracted by launch parties and Twitter updates. The Philippines, whether it realizes it or not, is standing at a crossroads. One path leads to innovation, investment, and pride. The other leads to quiet colonization, just wrapped in cooler branding and better UX. And Musk, he knows both roads like the back of his hand. This isn't about loving Filipino culture. This isn't about beaches or business trips. This is about timing. The West is saturated, China is complicated. But the Philippines, still open, still flexible, still hungry. It's the wild card in the global tech war, and Musk just played his hand. Now let's talk to the Filipinos watching this. You ever wonder why we're always picked last until someone finds something valuable here? They called us helpers, coders, assistants. Now suddenly we're strategic. Funny how that works. Musk didn't wake up one day and decide he loves adobo. He saw an opportunity. He saw a country with potential that hasn't yet been capitalized, and now he's moving fast. But here's the twist. If the richest man on earth is coming here, it means you're holding something powerful. You are more valuable than they've ever told you, and now is the time to wake up and realize it. Don't get me wrong, this could be good. This could bring tech, jobs, innovation, but only if we play smart, only if we set terms, only if we protect what's ours, because once it's gone, we won't get it back. Elon's not just building satellites, he's building systems. Systems that dictate how people live, work, communicate, and think. And the first country to fully adopt his network, that country becomes the prototype for something much bigger. This is not just his move, it's our moment. To ask the hard questions, to push for accountability, to stay awake, stay sharp, and recognize that this isn't just about tech, it's about power, our power. So what's really being built in the Philippines? A rocket base, a digital empire, or something more subtle, a long game of influence and invisible ownership. You want the truth? That's just the beginning. Coming up next, digital empire, how Starlink could control the skies and your screen. They say Starlink will connect every Filipino, even in the remotest province. Sounds noble, right? But here's the twist. When your internet, data, and digital identity flow through a single private pipeline, who really owns the future? Imagine this, a child in Mindoro logs onto class through Starlink. His voice, his habits, even his location become part of Musk's empire. Connection or quiet colonization? In the Philippines, where over 7,000 islands scatter across the Pacific, connectivity has always been a challenge. Traditional internet service providers have struggled to reach remote areas, leaving many communities isolated in the digital age. Enter Starlink, Elon Musk's ambitious satellite internet project, promising high-speed internet to even the most secluded barangays. The Department of Information and Communications Technology, DICT, has lauded Starlink's potential, noting the deployment of 30,000 terminals across the country in less than a year. For communities long deprived of reliable internet, this development seems like a dream come true. However, beneath the surface of this technological marvel lies a more insidious reality. By centralizing internet access through a single private entity, we risk ceding control over our digital infrastructure. When one company owns the pipeline through which all our data flows, it gains unprecedented power over our communications, information, and even our thoughts. Consider the implications. Every message sent, every website visited, every online transaction becomes data owned and analyzed by a foreign corporation. This isn't just about convenience, it's about control. This phenomenon isn't unique to the Philippines. Across the Pacific, nations have grappled with the concept of technocolonialism, where technological advancements become tools for modern-day colonization. By providing essential services, companies like Starlink embed themselves into the very fabric of society, making it nearly impossible to disentangle their influence. In Tonga, for instance, a volcanic eruption severed the nation's only undersea fiber optic cable, plunging the country into digital darkness. Starlink stepped in, offering immediate connectivity. While this aid was invaluable, it also highlighted the dangers of relying on a single provider for critical infrastructure. While the DICT Broadband Masa program aims to provide free internet access to remote areas using Starlink, the reality is more complex. The initial rollout may be subsidized, but long-term sustainability remains uncertain. Once communities become dependent on this service, will they be able to afford the ongoing costs? And what happens if the provider decides to change the terms or withdraw support? Moreover, the high cost of Starlink's equipment and subscription fees raises questions about accessibility. While some communities may benefit, others may be left further behind, exacerbating the digital divide. Quick pause. This one's important. We've been digging into stories like this to bring you the raw truth that no one else will. And here's the thing, our stats show more people are watching than subscribing. So if you've made it this far, you're clearly part of the sharp, curious few who care. Why not make it official? Hit that subscribe button and join our community. It's free, it helps us keep going, and honestly, we need you in this fight for digital freedom. Thanks for being here. All right, back to it. As we embrace the promise of global connectivity, we must remain vigilant about the potential consequences. The allure of instant internet access should not blind us to the risks of monopolized control over our digital lives. We must ask ourselves, are we building a future of empowerment or one of dependence? Are we fostering innovation or inviting a new form of colonization? Starlink's expansion in the Philippines offers both opportunities and challenges. While it has the potential to bridge the digital divide, it also poses significant risks to our sovereignty and autonomy. As we navigate this new digital frontier, we must ensure that our pursuit of progress does not come at the cost of our freedom. The sky may be the limit, but we must decide who holds the reins. Next up, real estate, labor, and the risk of a new empire. You've seen the satellites, but what about the land beneath them? In the next episode, we'll uncover how Starlink's quiet expansion could reshape Filipino real estate, disrupt labor markets, and lay the groundwork for something far more ambitious than internet access. This isn't just infrastructure, it might be the blueprint for a new empire. Stay tuned. The satellites above are just the start. What's quietly brewing on the ground is far more invasive and far less talked about. Behind the dazzling headlines about free internet and futuristic connectivity, another story is unfolding. Whispers grow louder. Foreign-backed smart cities rising in Luzon, secretive land acquisitions in Visayas, new highways snaking through Mindanao's untouched valleys. But here's the gut punch. Every glimmer of development could mean someone, somewhere is being pushed out of their home, their job, or their way of life. It starts subtly. A sleepy farming town hears rumors of a massive infrastructure project. Then come the brokers. The government calls it progress, investors call it opportunity, and landowners, many desperate for cash, start selling. At first, it feels like a win, until entire fields are bulldozed, ancestral lands disappear, and rent prices spike so high the locals can't afford to live where they were born. This isn't fiction, it's already happening. Take the New Manila International Airport project in Bulacan. Touted as a gateway to economic growth, it's also swallowing entire fishing communities along the coast. Fishermen, who for generations cast their nets in these waters, are being told to leave with minimal compensation. One man, 62, said, "I was born here. My father died here. Where do they expect me to go?" His voice cracks because what's lost isn't just property, it's identity. And while mass construction promises jobs, we have to ask, what kind of jobs? Laborers on these mega projects work 10 to 14-hour shifts under the scorching sun, often for minimum wage. Few benefits. No job security. It's the modern version of feudalism. Only now, the lords wear suits and fly in on private jets. Now imagine this, a smart city funded by foreign tech giants rises near your hometown. It comes with luxury apartments, fiber-connected offices, and solar-powered malls. Looks shiny, right? But behind those glass towers, what's really happening? Will locals have access to these spaces, or will they be cleaning them? Let's go deeper. Water shortages are already hitting several parts of Metro Manila and Cebu. These shortages are predicted to worsen with climate change, but also with unchecked urban sprawl. More buildings mean more consumption, and the poor are always first to suffer. What happens when you can't afford to shower, but the luxury tower next door has a rooftop pool? Then there's food. Every time farmland is converted into concrete, the nation's food future takes a hit. The Philippines imports over 15% of its rice, despite having vast agricultural potential. Why? Because farmers are leaving, because the land is being eaten by highways and high-rises, because planting rice isn't sexy to investors, but Wi-Fi connected condos are. We're trading nourishment for novelty, fields for fiber, and soon we may have internet in every province, but nothing left to eat. Now zoom out. What if this isn't just about buildings? What if it's part of something far bigger? Let's talk Elon Musk. He doesn't just launch rockets and build satellites, he makes plays, strategic, long-term moves that reshape industries. So when Starlink enters the Philippines, it's not just about connectivity, it's about territory. First, they beam into your sky. Then they eye your land. Then they tap your labor. And suddenly, you're living inside an empire you didn't vote for, owned not by a flag, but by a brand. Tech empires don't need tanks, they just need signal towers, data centers, real estate deals, and the right allies in power. What if the Philippines, your hometown, your barrio, your province, becomes the next testing ground for Musk's world-shaping ambitions? Imagine your child growing up in a smart province run not by local leaders, but by tech algorithms, foreign data centers, and private interests that value profit over people. What if this is just Musk's opening move? Not with soldiers, but with satellites. Not with invasions, but with investments. Not with war, but with Wi-Fi. The empire of tomorrow won't plant flags. It'll build fiber optics through your fields and lay solar panels over your soil. It'll own your bandwidth, your roads, and maybe one day, your rights. The Philippines could leap forward, or it could be rebranded another dot on the digital map. A tech colony, slick and connected, but stripped of soul. Would you welcome Elon Musk's empire in your hometown? Would you trust a billionaire to build your digital future? Or would you fight to protect your land, your labor, your legacy, before it all becomes property of someone who sees your country as a sandbox for his ambition? Drop your answer in the comments, because this conversation, it's not just about internet, it's about ownership, and it's just getting started.